There is emerging on the face of the earth a new human, an infinite human, and that infinite human is you. Join Elizabeth Monroy weekly for enlightening discussions, multi-dimensional journeys, profound meditations, and empowering visualizations as we co-create the new consciousness renaissance together with other blossoming infinite human beings who are shifting the old paradigms of our broken, fragmented, finite 3D Earth and alchemizing it into a more expansive, unified, loving, infinite reality by reclaiming their true divine, infinite power within as the co-creators of the new infinite Earth. Join us weekly for the Infinite Human Talk Show, hosted by Elizabeth Monroy, every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time.
Hello, my divine, infinite human being, to all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. And today we're going to talk about that elusive, mysterious elixir of life. Perhaps you've heard about it in the myths and legends of the great. What is this elixir of life? This is the reward at the end of the hero or heroine's journey. This is the potion that cures all, that gives immortality, that gives longevity, that gives complete and total health, that gives bliss, that is a necessary ingredient in the entire ascension process. So this is probably the most important message you will ever hear, the most important podcast you will ever hear, because this is so underrated, so dismissed, so degraded, but is the most important thing in the multiverse. And today our guest is Dr. Peter Monroy, but Dr. Peter Monroy is my twin soul, and he's no longer in the physical, but he's always with me, but he wanted to kind of be here because I'm going to quote him. And if you can imagine a doctor, he was an obstetrician gynecologist, board certified, and we traveled all around the world. And after he worked with the in Hyannisport with Rose Kennedy and, all the upper echelon of society, he just became disheartened with his practice and was actually kicked out by his wife. And he moved down to Miami, where I was on my way back from Italy, and we met on the beach in a very powerful union. And we wrote about it in our book, The Pathway Home. And it's also in The Infinite Human, about our twin soul journey together. But his logos, I will say, as a physician, was self-love is the best medicine. Could you imagine if doctors prescribed self-love? If people were able to properly love themselves. Now, I know if you're, there's a mind wipe in there that you're like, oh, self-love, that's all she's going to talk about, No, this is it. This is the most important thing. So please pay close attention, even if it's so familiar. You can't hear this enough, because this is the thing that's been more co-opted than money, than sex. It's been more hijacked than all the mind control programs that we've had, the frequency fences that have been put up between male and female. It has been so controlled, so contrived, so inverted and perverted, because it is so powerful. And if you can truly love yourself, begin the steps and then come to the point where you totally love yourself first, you are the most powerful person in the multiverse. All your other needs will happen automatically, because love, first of all, we've been taught that love is something that you get from someone. Oh, I hope he'll love me. Oh, if you're a good girl, I'll love you. If you're a good boy, your mommy will love you. Your poppy, your daddy will love you. Oh, I hope, I can, that this man loves me, or this woman loves me. We've had to conform for it. We've had to fight for it. We've had to win it. We've had to court it. We've had to some people have died for it or killed for it. Love is a finite commodity that we have to get from someone or something outside of ourselves. That is the program that has been put into our mind so strongly. It's embedded in our DNA, and it is the most misconstrued fallacy that exists. First of all, love is not an emotion. Love is love, and you've heard the saying many times, love is God, God is love, love is the ultimate truth. And it's true. Love is truth. Love is infinite source. Love is God. Love is all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. Love is infinite. There's an infinite supply of love. It's not something that you have to get and hold on to and covet. It is everywhere. Love is all around. Really popular film. Love is all around, and it's inside of you, but we've been taught, and we've created a frequency fence that has prevented this love to come into us. And above all, the eternal mother that is now returning to our planet is the bearer, the giver, the conduit, the gate of this love that is now pouring into our planet. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about love, self-love, first of all, today, self-love. Because we've been taught, especially women, but it's everyone, that we give to everyone else first. We fill everyone else's cup before we fill our own. And that could not be opposite. It's most important to fill your cup first till it runneth over. Fill it first. And there's a lot of fears that are associated, because if you think, well, gosh, if I'm in love with myself, if I love myself, I'll be a narcissist. I'll just think of myself all the time. I'll be selfish, and, I won't, think of anyone else, and I'll just be so self-absorbed. No, 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 that's not true. Love is fluid, it flows. And like I said, when your cup runneth over, it spills over to those around you, your partner, your family, your friends, your community, the world. But you have to keep your cup full. So it's constantly filling up and filling over and filling up and filling over. And that's what we have not been taught. We've been taught the opposite, that you have to give and give and give. Plus, we've had all kinds of mind control programs put into place that have to do with, first of all, religion, okay, the most thing, the spirituality. And that's why we're going to talk about that right now, because the eternal mother, divine mother, has been cut out of the equation. A frequency fence, a veil has been put up, and so she's not been able to pierce this veil, this beautiful, I always wear these veils, this veil of illusion. She has not been able to pierce through it. And because she's been netted out of our reality, the false tyrannical patriarch, God the Father, has usurped her place with God, Father, Son, and hungry ghosts. I call it hungry ghosts, obvious reasons. But that is what we've been taught. And we've been taught, of course, we're miserable sinners with stained, marked with original sin. And of course, with the women got the rap for that, because, that's the whole, in Italy, we call it Puttana, Eva, Eve, the prostitute, who ruined everything, who caused the fall of mankind, for seeking knowledge. So, but that sticks, because that is ingrained in our DNA, that we are not worthy of our Father's love, that our Father, is an angry God, a jealous God. And, we have to atone so that we can appease, our Father, and not make him angry, and sacrifice unto him. And hopefully, he will take pity on us and love us again. But, God has abandoned us, and we felt abandoned by our mother, because our mother has been, like I said, cut out of the equation, not by her choosing, not because we were bad, but because of this veil, the veil, the frequency fence that was put up around our earth, and she was unable to pierce it. So the good news is she has pierced it. And I know you guys are feeling this energy. I mean, the solar flares, there's like a huge now hole, in the sun that's poking through, and we're having eminences from the photonic belt and the Schumann resonance. And it's just so many people have been so tired. And I felt Mother's Day, just this amazing energy coming through. I just love this analogy of the veil. I'm going to put my veil up again. I'm wearing all my pink, 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 because pink is very symbolic. So this veil has been put up, and the Mother's Day, I felt, and I think many people felt, there's this piercing, this piercing of the veil, and this flowing of this beautiful plasma, ether, pink, loving, divine, loving energy that has been flooding and bathing our cells, bathing our planet, bathing our plasma bodies, bathing the plasmatics of our earth, or to the very core. Everything is being healed, recalibrated, restored. And that's why a lot of you are tired, myself included, because there's so much work, very deep healing going on, of many lifetimes, so that's a lot. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to take just a short break in a minute here. And then at the end of this, I want to leave you with a very powerful meditation that will just kind of help you to just absorb, and activate, and integrate and alchemize this loving, blissful energy that is coming forth from our Divine Mother, to help you to further along on the spiritual journey we call life, to love yourself, embrace yourself. First forgive, then accept, and then totally, completely love yourself just the way you are. So we'll be right back. In just a minute. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Okay, I guess we won't be right back. Caleb. We'll be right back. Anybody there?
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery, or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
And welcome back to the Infinite Human Talk Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Monroy, and we're talking about self-love being the best medicine. And I just want you to take a moment to think about how all the people that you loved in your life and how that felt to just be in the presence of someone that you really, really loved. Maybe it was a mother, a father, a relative, a friend, a lover, a husband, and how that felt. And then think about someone who you knew just loved you so much. Maybe you may have been fortunate to have a mother's love or father's love or, a partner's love, a friend's love, even if it was just for a while. But just think about how it feels to know you're loved, to know you're loved. It feels wonderful. And the thing is, though, what if you could feel that way with just yourself? All right. And I wanted to brought in Peter today because, we wrote this book together, even though he's not in the physical anymore. We wrote it together, and it's The Infinite Human, and it's a twin soul journey. It's about our beautiful, beautiful love story, and how when we first met each other, we almost killed each other because that's what happens usually when you meet your twin souls, because you have so much distortions from in trauma and past life, um, you know, crap, I'll just say miasmas that you have to clear. And a lot of people don't even meet, and because the timelines are scrambled, and a lot of people don't ever heal it. But we were fortunate enough, after a lot of work and working with spiritual teachers that we found, we healed it. And then it was just such a beautiful relationship, because it was really self-love, because we are one. And just like a hand and glove, like not even opening our mouths to communicate, through telepathy, and just that oneness of just being with one another. And I'm so grateful for Peter, because as with all relationships with people outside of you, they are basically teaching you how to love and how to love yourself. And then when he died, when he passed on, when he ascended, it was devastating, and it's been 20 years, and I'm still, I'm just finally getting over the grieving, but it was so difficult, and I talk about that, in the book, and along with disclosure of all the fallen systems, because that's very important. You need to know that. But for me, when he died, I say, Peter taught me how to love. And now I needed to learn how to love myself. And it's a journey. It's been a long journey for me. I've been in the, I was together with him for 20 years, and it's been 20 years since he passed. So it's taken me another 20 years to really reach that point. But I feel like I'm really firmly, you never reach anything because there's always more, but I feel like I'm really firmly settled in that now. And the beautiful thing about it is, okay, so could you imagine, because everyone's like, first of all, a lot of people are alone right now. They just are, and there's a reason for that, I believe. But one, timelines have been scrambled. Two, there's this deep longing for our twin souls, but they're not quite there. I do believe that the women are leading the way first, and they're clearing their magnetic distortions, and then the men will step up. But right now, the women are a little bit ahead of the men in terms of the new earth and moving up in frequencies. So even though, we long for our twin souls, almost like, okay, ladies, it's your turn. Get out there in front, because the men have been the leaders. And I have a whole podcast on that, why people don't get sex and how women are going to change that. And then last week we had, women becoming trillionaires. So I think there's a reason that especially women are finding themselves by themselves, whether they're divorced or widowed, or, just haven't found anyone or have recently broken up. And I think it's because it's time to properly learn to love ourselves. Think about it. That gives you so much power. Doesn't mean you're not going to love someone. In fact, it's going to mean you're going to be able to love someone more because you know how to love. So many people aren't able to love, and That's the problem. They might come together. Or many of you are in relationships, but it's just not as full as it could be. And you know that. And it's because we're still operating off of the 3D paradigm in relationships. So we have to first change that internally with inside ourselves. And that's what we're doing right now. So imagine, because yeah, I get it. I've been with women, especially after Peter, it's kind of strange for me. It was like I was, on my own again. So I'd go out with women and be really excited. And then I'd find myself like in a scenario where you're out, like, I was living in Italy. So you go to a pub or, go out to a cafe or something. And all of a sudden you realize that the woman that's sitting beside you isn't there because she wants to be with you. She's there like you're like a prop, so she can be on display so she can like, pull in a man. And that is the worst feeling, I think, that women do to each other. It's so devaluating. And it's because, like I said, because of religion, because of our family situation, because of our history, women have been so devalued. And we've devalued ourselves and we've lowered our self-worth. And all of our self-worth has been dependent on something external, a man. Okay. Our self-worth is gone according to who we married. Like I was Dr. and Mrs. Peter Monroy. That's how it's done in the US traditionally. Or, who your father is, who your son is. I was just watching, I've been watching the historical movies with, the royalty and how an heir is so important and how if a woman didn't have a male son, well, she was out of luck, financially and every other way. She had nothing. So it's been a real number done on us to be cast as, again, I'll say the lunar reflection of the solar male, someone who revolves around the male's light and does not radiate light from within ourselves. So let's take a minute. Imagine, if you will, let's just let our fantasies run wild. Imagine if you woke up in the morning, instead of longing, for someone to, build you a dream home or take you out on a date or send you flowers or call you or send you a love text. What if you did that for yourself? What if you ask yourself, what do you want to do today? What do you want to eat? Where do you want to go? What do you want to wear? You don't dress for anyone else. You don't go places, to be seen or to do what you think you're supposed to do for others. You do everything from inside yourself because you love yourself better than anyone in the whole world. You are in love with yourself. You are courting yourself. You are treating yourself right. You are eating what you want to eat. You are vacationing where you want to go. You are going to see the movies you want to see. When Peter, was first gone, dead, it was so strange because I was so used to like, what movies does he want? What does he want to eat? Where does he want to go? And I know, come on, women, you know what I'm talking about because we're so good at that. And we love it. We love it. And it was hard because you're like, oh, I have, no one else to embrace. And that's when, your arms close in on yourself and you begin to embrace yourself. You begin to love yourself. You begin to nurture yourself. You begin to sexually, find out who you are, and enjoy yourself. All these things you can do. And it's taboo. Of course, it's taboo because how powerful would you be, especially women, because I think, I grew up with my mother, she didn't really like to cook, but she did cook a nice meal, sometimes, once in a while. And then, but if my father wasn't coming home that night, we had leftovers. It was just like, oh, that's what you do. Or if we went out to dinner, even though we had money, eventually when I was young, we didn't. But when my mother worked too, started making money, my father would order steak or lobster. And then my mother would say, I'll have chicken because she was taught by her mother to always order chicken whenever she went out. So it's that self-worth. It's that clearing out space for yourself, allowing yourself to receive, feeling worthy, um, feeling like it is your right, your cosmic right to be loved for who you are, truly your authentic self by yourself. You don't have to wait for someone else to do it, to love you. And I'll tell you a little secret. When you do that, other people will love you because people love to be around love. They love to be around people who are loving. And if you're loving to yourself, you're going to be a loving person. That's the last thing you want to be is around someone who hates themselves, right? I mean, it just drives them away. I remember I was so grief stricken when Peter died. I mean, I just, I reveled in my selfish, and it is selfish, my selfish misery. I mean, I just loved my misery. And people who didn't want to be around me. I'm like, nobody wants to be around me. I'm like, well, of course, nobody wants to be around you, because you're miserable. So, wow, wouldn't that be huge if you could shift that? If you could shift that, and we're on an ascension journey, so that's partly what my other book over here is about. It's asking questions. It's the hero's journey. Here's the hero's journey of rewriting your life story to your heroic self. So it's asking you, are you the main character in your story? Because usually, especially women, we're always the sidekick of someone, and we're always looking to be the sidekick, and when we're not, we on sidekick, we want to be a sidekick instead of realizing, wait a minute, there's no one else in my story because I'm it. I'm the main character. It's my time. And so now it's time for me to find out who I am. What do I like? What, floats my boat? What makes my heart tick? What is my passion? And when you begin to do that, you will begin to do the things you want to do, and you'll become very successful because you'll find out who you are. What is your uniqueness, and what are your unique gifts and talents? And that's another reason you find yourself alone, because it's time for you to rewrite your life script, starting from point zero of I am the center of my life. And whether you believe it or not, that is the truth. It's always, and always has been and always will be, it's all about you. It's all about you. It may sound selfish, but it's not, because you share, your Huva bodies, your holographic template with others. You interface with others, but it's all about you. You create your own reality, and you draw to yourself what you need to experience. So if you are finding yourself on your own, it's because it's time for you to reassess who you are, to become the main character in your life story, and to write it the way you want it to be written, not to be following the mind control programs of other people. So, okay, we're going to take a little short break, and then we come back, we're going to talk about how do you make that shift. And as you journey into your heroic journey of yourself, the spiritual journey that we call life, what do you need to take along with you? And that's that elusive, mysterious elixir that needs to come along with you, even so you can administrate it even in the darkest nights of your soul. Okay, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Infinite Human Talk Show. I'm Elizabeth Monroy. I'm your host, and we're talking about that elusive elixir of life, self-love, which is so important. And you need to take it with you as you ascend, as you embark upon this beautiful heroic journey of rewriting your life story. All of you, all of your past lives, future lives, all of your alternate identities, bringing them, alchemizing them all into this life to reach the highest essence of who you are, your trua, your ascended self, your Christos self, your infinite self. And that's what we're doing now. Those of you that are tuning in to my voice, it's all about ascension. It's all about returning, reclaiming that divine power within. And in the higher dimensions, love is just, it is, truth and love are frequencies. So once you pierce the veil, to my veil again, and you ascend into the higher frequencies beyond the 3D world, you are in a world of unity, of consciousness, of oneness, the law of one, of this infinite God source and infinite love. And love just is. It's not something you seek or you chase, or you even have to learn how to love yourself again. That's just the part of the journey, and it is the elixir that you should bring with us. We should all bring with us. But the most important thing is actually, if you can really start to love yourself, is like quantum leap into these higher dimensions. It's like when you shift into gratitude, for example, and gratitude is love. It's giving love. It's loving everything around you. It's being grateful, and that is love. And that raises your frequency right away. So the more you can just focus on allowing love, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to. You're not a human doing, you're a human being, and being is being in love, in that fluid, flowing current of love, which is always present now, and even more, it's being restored to us through the divine eternal mother. So it's at hand now. So just become aware of it and just let it come in. And a lot of this energy that we're feeling right now, I don't know about you, but everyone's tired, but it's also causing, I find it's very magnetic, which is very feminine. And when I close my eyes, I just see pink, 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 and it's just this velvety, floaty, etherical, vaporous energy. I'll do a meditation with that. But I feel this magnetic force, and it's magnetizing us, and it's slowing us down so we can absorb it more, and we can be with it, and be it, rather than rushing around so busy. Because when we do that, rushing around, why do we rush around? We're usually rushing around because we're trying to, to achieve something. And what are we always looking for? At the end of everything, the reason we want to make a lot of money, the reason we want to be successful, the reason we want people to notice us, the reason we want to be, seen and heard and famous, is because we want to be loved. We want to be loved, loved, loved. We want love. We want our parents to be proud of us and to love us. We want our partners, our children. We want our community. We want people to love us and think, we're great. And, what if you could just short circuit that where you just loved yourself? So you finally didn't care. You didn't give a flying leap what other people thought. Wow. How powerful is that? I mean, if someone cancels on you, a friend of mine, we were going to go out for pizza and she called and canceled. And I was like, okay. I mean, at first, like, you cancel at the last minute. But you know what? It was okay. I was tired. I stayed at home. I cuddled myself. I slept. I did what I needed to do for me. So if the outside world, is not there for you, wow, don't get, oh, they don't like me. Oh, he didn't call me. Oh, she canceled on me. Oh, no, this is your chance to be with your best friend, with your truest, most loyal lover, with your biggest fan, with your biggest supporter, you. And you need to do that. You need to start getting on your side. Because how many times have we been taught, to get, we're on our backs. We're criticizing ourselves. And we're thinking that's going to make us better, That's going to make us be better. So we'll be better. And when we're better, people will love us. Well, what kind of friends are those? You don't want people that love you because you're doing something for them. Those are vampires. You don't want people that love you because you're conforming to what they think you should do, or you're being what they think you should be. And hence, it's very important. Okay, I want to really say this because we really need full disclosure. And this is the infinite human. And we had with the Rose, with the trillionaire, very dynamic woman, very powerful woman. But I noticed because she didn't have all the information at the fullest level of disclosure, many times she, and not just her, I'm not picking on her, but many people, they make their role models the wrong people. Because she was talking about, I think Melinda Gates, and or curtsying to someone that's probably not even there anymore. You're paying your respects, you're giving your allegiance, you're giving your love, your power even to something outside of yourself that's not worthy of you. So you should always first look at yourself and see what a magnificent creature you are, and I think it was an actor who said, my hero is my future self. Was it anyway, I can't remember I can't pronounce his name, but make your hero your heroic version of yourself. That's what you want to be. And that is the person you pay respects to. And that's the person you listen to. And that's the person that cheers you on because they love you, because they know you are them. It's this beautiful, symbiosis in a very non-vampiric way. So, let your highest self, your highest essence of you, your heroic self, be your hero instead of looking at people from this fallen, crumbling 3D earth. Because right now we're the ones who are, creating and being the change. It's up to us. And so we need to look inward, not look externally, because the external world is not done it right. It's not where you're going to get your answers. It's not where you're going to get your love. It's not where you're going to want to seek your role models. We're it, okay? We're it. You're it. You're it. And that's why you have to really turn inward and decide that you're your own best friend. You might even talk to your heroic self, talk to it, sit down, have a dialogue, ask it for help, talk to your mentor self. When I do my workshops, and my online courses, which I'm going to start doing again, but when I did it with the film school, I would have students go into like the Uffizi, museums, puppet museums, the great museums, and I'd have them find themselves now, how they are. I'd have them find their mentor self, that aspect of themselves that knows more that's on their side. I'd have them find their shadow self, the part of them that was the fearful, the part they hated, the loathing, the dark night of the soul aspect of themselves. And then their heroic self at the end, their ascended self. And so they would create dialogues, and then they would end up making movies about this. So it's really fascinating. And I'm getting back into that. But because I love it, it's my passion. It brings me life. And I see what it does for people when they can open up that, because there's so much to you. And we get so, by projecting our consciousness always externally, we forget about ourselves, we end up like listening to, what are they doing, AI chat or GP chat, or, all this AI is now telling you what to do, telling you what to think. I mean, how off is that? So start to create open dialogues with yourself. Start to ask yourself questions, which is what that Rewriting Your Life Story workbook is all about. And The Infinite Human, the book, is about my journey, but it's also about yours. It's about learning how to discern, going through and seeing how you've been taught to give your power away, and how these systems are not worthy of your attention, of your time. And now with disclosure, I think we need to walk a fine line, because it's kind of like the two opposites, the chariot card in the tarot, or the masculine and the feminine. We have people who are not aware of what's going on around them, and so they're only into themselves, like their therapy, they're healing their inner child, working with their shadow selves, working on relationships, but they don't realize the magnitude of the environment and the culture and the mind control programs that have been taking them off track and purposely intended. So they're like these Russian dolls that are, one doll's inside of another doll, inside of another doll, and they're in that little doll in the center, just working within that tiny little finite space. Then we have the opposite. We have people who are all into the latest conspiracy theory. Oh my gosh, did you hear what happened with this latest pope? Or did you hear what's going on with, the POTUS and the Q, and, and it gets to the point where it's gossip, and you're so focused externally on all the disclosure information, you're not bringing it into you. So the true ascension is you need to work both sides. You need to alchemize both. You need to realize it's not your fault. You don't feel worthy. You've been told you're a miserable sinner. You've been taught that everyone else is more important than you, and you've been taught that love is something you have to earn or win, or be a good girl and boy, or a good wife and mother to have it. So you have to realize that it's been a put-up job rigged against you, so you don't get on your case. The biggest thing is that you need to stop blaming yourself and then getting on yourself because you're not loving yourself. That's the Hall of Mirrors. Oh my God, I'm not loving myself. Ah. So you can see how you can really get off track there. So I think it would be really nice if you could just take a moment to set the intention from this moment on to truly and properly begin to love yourself, honor yourself, respect yourself. And that's tough love also. That means creating boundaries. We're taught that, that being a Christic person, being a loving person, means you take a lot of shit from people around you. And, I've been learning to really stand up for myself, which I didn't think it would be so hard, because, sometimes I can be a bee, but I realized I was kind of passive aggressive, that would take it, and then all of a sudden just blow up. So now, as we begin to love and respect ourselves, we can create these beautiful boundaries that nurture and protect us and don't allow other people to vampire off of us or to trespass against us. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll do just a wonderful meditation to leave you with this beautiful, silky, wonderful cushion of self-love. We'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your...
Okay. And welcome back, my divine infinite human beings. I'm Elizabeth Monroy, and this is the Infinite Human Talk Show. And I just want to leave you with this beautiful, very peaceful, healing activation, i.e. meditation, initiation. So just, sit back and relax if you're driving, don't close your eyes, but just take a minute to relax and take a nice deep breath, breathing in I am, and exhaling peace, 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 and breathing in I am, and exhaling love, 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 and breathing in, and exhaling infinite source, 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 and just feel as you breathe in and exhale love, feel it warming your heart, feel it dispersing and loving and recalibrating, and feel your heart opening up. And now just very gently begin to become aware first of the crown of your head, and begin to open up your crown and feel this wonderful inpouring of this ether, vapor, energy that's pink, that's kind of a pinkish, palish pink with a little magenta, almost like my head here. You see the pale pink and then some magenta coming into it. And you see the ether's kind of turning into plasma, and you see little plasma magenta droplets that are kind of taking in the shape of hearts, and just feel that pouring into your body and healing and recalibrating as it enters through your crown chakra, into your pineal complex, your third eye, and down and clearing out your throat chakra complex, and then clearing out your heart complex into your azari, into your heart, and into your heart of Athema, and feel it transmuting your physical heart as it begins to spin into a beautiful Merkaba of a crystalline, beautiful crystalline, sparkly diamond Merkaba structure as it spins in perfect ratio, top to bottom, and feel it moving in this beautiful plasma, ether, heart energy down through your stomach, just pushing out all the lower frequencies of fear through your solar plexus, out, and through your intestinal tracts and into your reproductive organs, healing, regenerating, and pushing out all the overlays, all the miasmas, all the implants, as it moves down through your womb, if you're a female or if you're not, than that same area, but feel a beautiful golden ray moving into your womb and healing and recalibrating and realigning your beautiful womb that is clearing out all of the miasma, not only from your sexual partners in this lifetime and all the other lifetimes, but all the miasma from your mothers, grandmothers, great-great-grandmothers, and the whole lineage of the women, of the grandmothers throughout your generational ancestral lineage, and feel it clearing, recalibrating, realigning to the frequency of love, self-love, love, and feel it just moving out through your beautiful yoni, or if you're a male, your sexual organs there. And feel it moving down your legs and grounding you into the earth and into the very center of the earth where that D12 current and the Nomi seed, the Nomi wave, the silver seed sanctum is. And feel yourself completely grounded in the knowing that you are loved and that you are love and that you love yourself. And just take a moment to begin this beautiful mantra that will carry you through the evening, through your dreams, through the days, through your life, using the two most powerful words ever uttered in the English language. I am love, 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 love. I am love, 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 love. I am love, 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 love. And now just begin to say whatever way you want to, but let this be your mantra. I love myself. 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 Just feel how good that feels to say that. I love myself. And as you continue to say this to yourself, I love myself, feel these beautiful inundating waves ripple throughout your entire holographic template, ripple throughout all the cells of your body, a beautiful pink plasma, heart-shaped, etherical vapor. I love myself. That is healing. It is realigning. It is rebalancing. It is clearing all the distortions. It is healing all the dis-ease. It is balancing your hormones, balancing your neurological systems, your nervous systems, your parasitic systems, your reproductive systems, your skeletal systems, your fascia systems, your endocrine systems, your chakra systems. I love myself. With each syllable, you are healing and balancing your body physically, emotionally. I love myself. Clearing out your pain body, clearing out all the trauma of all your other lifetimes. I love myself. And forgiving yourself and forgiving others. I love myself. Clearing out your mental body and all those bogus, ridiculous beliefs that you were programmed to believe, clearing out your low self-esteem, your lack of self-worth. You're believing you were a sidekick, a reflection to someone else, clearing out your codependencies, clearing out your desperate needs to be loved by some external source other than you, clearing out all your past feelings and healing that divine inner child who was never properly loved, not because you were bad, not because you were evil, not because you didn't do what was right, but because mommy and daddy weren't loved and they didn't know how to love you properly. They were not able. So now you are going to love that beautiful divine inner child as you allow this wonderful, powerful energy of the divine eternal mother to consume you, to inundate every cell of your body, to completely and totally encompass you, so you can in turn give that unconditional love that you've been so hungry for to your divine inner golden Christ child within. And this is the elixir of life. It is no longer mysterious. It is no longer evasive. You have it at hand. It is time to take this reward. You deserve it. You are worthy of it. You are the embodiment of the divine eternal mother, and you are love, 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 love. And take a deep breath and just let that love keep growing and growing and growing inside of you as you continue throughout your day, your week, your life. And thank you so much for joining me and the Infinite Human Talk Show. I love you so very much. And until next week, all my love. Ciao for now.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Infinite Human Talk Show with your host, Elizabeth Monroy. We hope today's episode has inspired you to join the new consciousness renaissance and be the change by reclaiming your true divine infinite nature within and becoming an infinite human and a co-creator of the new infinite earth. Tune in next week for another empowering episode. Until then, have an infinite week.